History has determined that Southwark House, north of the Royal Navy home at Portsmouth, was the headquarters for Allied forces on D-Day. Certainly, it was where the top brass met to discuss strategic planning decisions. But what even local residents do not realise is that Southampton was the headquarters for the day-to-day running of Operation Overlord. Some may be aware that the one-time South Western Hotel became HMS Shrapnel and the headquarters for the Combined Operations Military Movement Control. But the Second Front was only made possible when war was declared on the United States. Under the Bolero programme, Southampton became the conduit for US forces in the European theatre. Yet still fewer realise that the Civic Centre, today the home of the Art Gallery and Public Library, as well as the seat of the City Council, was the centre of operations. A clue to this role is the World War II photo of a GI standing guard outside an administrative door of the Civic Centre. The 14th Major Port, a unit of the US Transportation Corps, was responsible for the embarkation of troops and equipment destined for Normandy from D-Day through to the end of the war. However, they were initially stationed in Nissen huts in Hoglands Park. Formally established in Southampton by the 1st of February 1944, access to documents from Southampton City Council archives reveal that as early as December 1943, the US commanding officer was in discussion with the mayor, Councillor Stranger, to relocate the US headquarters in space allocated at the Civic Centre. Southampton suffered badly during its own blitz during 1939 and 1940, and the port was closed for 2 years to non-essential traffic. The Civic Centre was hit by Axis bombing, killing a group of school children. So it is no wonder that the British High Command doubted the wisdom of using the building as the US Army headquarters. Yet in the letter dated the 29th of December 1943, it seems as a result of conversations between Lieutenant Colonel L. Chester Hunt and the mayor, the American CEO made an official request to the town clerk. In his letter he refers to Southampton as a city, but at the time of writing it had only achieved town status, yet it is doubtful whether this harmed the application. The letter seeks to gauge the response to a request for the occupancy of galleries 6, 7 and 8, the old woodwork room, a portion of the sculptor's shed, the old art room, cycle room, together with the toilet and cloakroom on the basement floor. In the correspondence on New Year's Day, he inquires still further to clarify the conditions for any occupancy. In pencil on the reverse of one of these documents there is a query about releasing these rooms free of charge. But in his reply the town clerk makes it clear to the commanding officer that there will be no charge for the occupancy, with the proviso, of course, that any alterations made to the building, such as blast walls, will be removed upon final departure. At the behest of the mayor, the town clerk adds that Southampton Corporation is keen to facilitate the move at what he describes as this very important juncture. It might surprise some to find that in the follow-up letter dated the 4th of January, all the formalities for the occupancy are completed on little more than a handshake according to a gentleman's agreement, and in his reply dated the 5th of January 1944, the US Army CO expresses his appreciation. However, the War Department land agent seems to query the approach, but in a letter of the 11th of January, the town clerk explains he will be happy to discuss the matter further if there are any problems with the final decision. Today, there is no indication that the offices in the basement of the Civic Centre were at the hub of what one author has described as, set in a scale of time, probably mankind's mightiest single endeavour. However, there is a plaque next to the guarded door which reads that A wing of the Civic Centre was used as a headquarters by the 14th Major Port US Army during World War II. Between D-Day, June the 6th, and the end of hostilities, orders were issued from here directing the embarkation of the American armies, who together with their allies sailed from Southampton docks to liberate Europe. During the operation, over 2.25 million troops, 250,000 vehicles and millions of tons of supplies of the US Army were shipped through this port. Despite commendable attempts to save a World War II wall, there is no significant memorial in the city of Southampton to the achievement of those who sailed from the port during Operation Overlord. And today, employees still use the Civic Centre door without a second glance at the plaque on the wall.